player game of the first round today. Back Des Loring. We're going to take questions.
Yeah, Scott Jackson, the Tacoma Courier and Oskaloosa Herald, and Destin, just kind of talk about the complete effort today by both sides of the ball. It started early, set the tone. Kind of talk about that first drive that you guys had that ended with your first of the 3 touchdowns today.
Yeah. At first, it started off a little rocky. We started off with the ball first. The offense did. They were making some plays, and then, as you know, we had a run play that opened up, and I ended up taking it to the house and scoring it. And then we flipped it over to the defense. They got some stops, got some picks, and we went back on the field and did the same thing again.
Just kind of talk about we were talking earlier before we came on here, but that defense, just what was it like watching them make plays for you and set you guys up there with some short fields?
Yeah, it was crazy, Had some guys who don't normally, catch interceptions, catching them today. We had fumbles all around. It was just great energy, and them doing that allowed the offense to go out there and make plays, and just turn into a good game.
How big was it to, when you got some of those short field opportunities there? I mean, that you, in particular there in the second quarter, to have that one play touchdown right off the bat there, kind of seemed like that was kind of a breaking point in the game right there.
It felt pretty good, All week, we didn't know what they were going to throw at us, whether it was a stack box or zone, and when we had the opportunity to make plays, that's what we did.
What does it mean to be part of the first season victory in this program's history?
Feels good. I mean, I was here when we weren't even thinking about the playoffs, and then just finishing in my last ride, going to the next round, it means a lot.
All right, Des, one last question for you to wrap things up before we get to Quincy Classius and head coach Mark Benavides. Today you became the William Penn all-time leading rusher in a career. Talk about what that means to you. You broke in the all-time touchdown record in a season. You broke in the all-time rushing record for rushing yards in a career. Talk about that, what it means to you in your last game, potentially at home.
Well, first thing first, I'd like to give honor to God, because without him, I wouldn't have done any of those things, and it means a lot, and I got to give a good thanks to the O-line and the wide receivers blocking, and then just my head coach for putting trust into me to run the ball and make plays.
Were you the last touchdown there? Was that so we make plans for you to go to New York for the Heisman ceremony there? Was that just happened there?
I mean, yeah, it was just something I just came up with on the spot. If they want to, they can.
Awesome, Des. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to welcome in head coach Mark Benavides and defensive lineman Quincy Classius in next to the press conference.
Thank you.
Mike's on.
He go back.
All right, we are here with defensive lineman Quincy Classius. Quincy, there was a couple plays today, third down plays, where you came up with huge hits on the quarterback. Can you talk about that process and what that looked like from your angle?
Just like practice, Coach say, watch your V, watch your man, whatever it do, whatever he give at you, just react to it, and that's what happened.
So we talked to Des all the takeaways your guys' defense had today. You had Denard, who had an interception for a touchdown, 2 forced fumbles. You had Shuby go for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, interception, I apologize. He was rumbling around.
3 linebackers caught one.
Yep, so you had a lot of guys that don't usually catch interceptions, have interceptions. Talk about the defense as a whole coming together and turning defense into offense today.
You know what's so crazy? Before we had a meeting in the morning, Coach told all linebackers, you're going to get one today. Just stack the hash, and that's what happened. So them catching them picks was no surprise. That was nothing surprising. We just turned,
Last question, and I'll turn it over to the media. Can you just talk about this team as a whole this year?
Man, I'm a sophomore right now. I was here last year. We weren't the best. We had ups and downs, but, we just still sticking together coming into this season now. Just everybody had to buy in, and so everybody brought in. Look how far it got us.
Scott Jackson, Tacoma Courier, and Oskaloosa Herald, and just talk about kind of, making those big plays. Is again kind of a game where they made some challenges on you, had it driving around midfield. they got an interception of their own later in the first quarter. And then, again, just talk about for the second straight week, you guys were able to make big defensive plays to force turnovers and stall out another team and kind of kill their momentum immediately.
Okay. All right. Man, I can't even say too much. It's just that we really wanted it. You know, we wanted it. It's first round. We ain't been here in a long time. My first time actually in playoffs since high school. So, and we just really wanted it. So we just going out here doing what we had to do. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it like today? I mean, this is not a.
To be
encouraged with this program to be here. You know, just getting ready for a playoff game here at home. What was it like today, Dave?
Man, we tell each other every day, just win. Just go out here, stick together, have each other's backs, and just win. So win is all we want to do. That's all we want. So that's the only thing we want, you know. So it's like, yeah.
Is it a humbling thing to think about that you just made program history here with this first postseason win?
I can't even say, you know. Like, yeah, we made history. It's a lot, you know, but we just got to keep going, you know.
Well, yeah, that's the next question, too, now. Can this carry over? Can you continue to do what you've been doing on the road here the next couple weeks?
Like I said, man, all we want to do is just win. So whoever we got to face, no matter who it is, we coming to put belt, you know.
All right, one last question for you before we turn it over to Coach Benavides. So you're a defensive lineman. You get to have the wrath of Coach Jay Burns all the time.
Yeah.
We don't usually get to talk about that or talk to him. Talk about your experience playing defensive line with Coach Jay Burns.
Boy. That's one guy, you know, that's my boy, though. That's my coach, man. I love him to death, man. Coming in that freshman, you know, I had to play behind somebody, but then, you know, we had that talk coming into my second year. Told me, hey, this going to be your year. I'm going to be heavy on you. During meetings, I used to get yelled at a lot just because he trusted me a lot just to go out there and, you know, do what I got to do because I got the talent, the size. I know my stuff. Just go out there and do what you coach, you know, and you'll be successful. And for all D linemen, look at us now. We're making history. Second round.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. And so we're going to turn it over to Coach Benavides now for the press conference.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Oh. Coach Scott Jackson, Temple Curry High School is the Herald. Coach, talk about making history today and what you saw out there from these guys in this history-making victory here.
Yeah, I mean, biggest game's the next one. A big thing for us this entire week is, like, obviously this is a huge game, biggest game in a number of guys' careers. But at the end of the day, it's just another game on Saturday, and we've got to prepare for it like we would any other. Felt great getting the win. We're kind of unsure exactly who we're going to be going against, or how they're going to be compared to the competition we played previously, been in a different conference and everything. But very proud of our guys going out there, executing, working all week, and obviously getting this win.
How big was it to set the tone immediately there, that first drive of the game? Kind of just like you did last week at St. Ambrose, to go out there and put together a drive, pick up key third downs, and then put the ball in the end zone before the other team can even touch the ball. Yeah, I'm a big fan of deferring to the second half and going into it. I mean, really all week, that was kind of the mindset, was offensively, we're going to do what we can to set the tone, go run the football, and go drive the field and score. And fortunately, we did that first drive. Our defense shut them out that first drive as well. And then same thing starting that second half. Our defense stopped them, and then we got the ball and scored quickly. And so, things like that. Obviously, the game is a collection of a number of plays and doing your job each play. But when you can set the tone like that, it's big for everybody's morale and confidence moving forward. And you heard Quincy mention right there about the turnovers there, and he mentioned they said you said in the morning that they were going to get turnovers. All these guys were going to go after. They'd be able to get the ball there. Yeah, I mean, we have positional meetings and stuff in the morning, and I know those guys talking about that. That's for us as an offense, us as an entire team. The ball is what's going to win you games. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over too many times ourselves today as an offense. But yeah, defense did a great job getting takeaways and obviously scoring points. When they do that, it's hard for us to lose. I mean, they're setting us up in a really good position as a whole team. And you go watch the entire game. Field position was a huge factor. The wind was a huge factor.
It doesn't directly correlate to scores and all this stuff, but whenever we've got great field position on offense and our defense is great field position, again, it's going to help leading us to go score more points and go have success.
What does this mean to you to be, and like you said, I know you're on to the next one here and getting ready to focus on the next round, but to be going to the next round for the first time in program history, how humbling is that?
It feels great. At my last previous stop, my last game was coaching a playoff game, lost by a touchdown in freezing cold weather. And going back right now, there's a number of guys in the squad that are seniors that were freshmen with me in my previous school. And really, I'm just proud of those guys believing in me, coming and working their butts off. Same thing with the coaches. Winning 11 games, no matter what conference, no matter what you got going on, is not easy. Just the time commitment. Outside of the things you see on the field, the things you see on the game, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. You're with somebody for 3.5 months. Like, you get to the point where you just want to beat each other up. Unfortunately, these guys are staying connected. They're fighting for each other, battling it out, and again, just an overall great feeling. And knowing where the program was before I got here, we put in a ton of work to be in the spot where we're at right now. And again, just really proud and excited for those players, excited for the coaches. Again, hard work is paying off for them.
I think you mentioned it was either on social media or something that you can win here, right?
Yeah.
That kind of something you've been proven throughout the year. These guys have all been proven that it can be done here.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of naysayers and doubters. When I first got here, even when I first initially got here, doubters on my own previous school and in the conference. William Penn, they're that team that's not going to be successful, or you see on social media or Yik Yak or whatever about football not being good. And it's been a big thing for us, just proving those doubters wrong, proving those naysayers wrong, as they would say, and going out here and winning some games.
Coach, you're Mason, William Penn Athletics. Can you just talk about your two players of the game today? You had Des Loring go off for 4 touchdowns, Denard go off for a pick 6, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Can you talk about their impact on today's game?
Yeah, all season long, both those guys have been absolute studs for us. Des, again, being a senior, his first year only having a couple hundred yards, and I don't know what the stats were today. He probably was close to 200, probably had 4 touchdowns.
192.
A lot of that is at times scheme and our offensive line just killing it. That's been a huge change from this year and previous years, but he's been working his butt off. And same thing, Denard. You can tell his range, his athleticism, knowing where he is mentally with what they've got going on. It's been a night and day compared to years past. And at the end of the day, again, we've won 11 games, we've had success, but coaches don't win games, the players do. Coaches lose games. And so for us as coaches, we got to do what we can to put those guys in a good spot to go be successful. And again, I'm not going to be a good coach if I'm not getting Des the football, and that's what we got to go do.
So, Coach, one last question before we let you go celebrate with your team. We talk about this every week with you, turning defense into offense and how important it is. We saw the perfect showing of it today. Can you just break that down for us on the keys of it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, every single play just comes down to execution. If our guys are going to execute, be in the right spot, and they go show that athleticism, it's going to pay off. I don't know all the stats, but I know Denard getting that pick 6. I think Giovanni Welch had an interception. Spoon had an interception. Shuby had an interception. Got hawked down. Eventually didn't score. Going to make sure he's aware of that. But no, it's huge. Whenever you can control the football, you're going to win football games. And so for us to have continued success against these other opponents, we've got to do whatever we can to keep that up. And again, just those guys be in the right spot at the right time. A lot of it comes down to execution and making plays.
As last thing I'll ask, Coach, is that I heard one of the players mention now they get to spend Thanksgiving together. That might not have been the plan otherwise.
Yeah.
So now you got some holiday plans here.
Yeah. So we had plans to have a team get together at Thanksgiving, regardless of the outcome of the game here. We know from a travel logistics standpoint, a number of people are going to stay here in Oskaloosa. So we've already got some things planned out. There's a YMCA right across the road. I think we plan on eating there as a team. And, things like that will just bring the team together regardless of the outcome of next week's game, having that team camaraderie, having two guys who are loving each other up. And at the end of the day, Thanksgiving, we're going to be able to express what we're thankful for. And I'm extremely thankful for our coaches working their butts off, our players working their butts off. And I know I got, accolades or this or that. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to everybody as a team getting the job done. So, yeah.
Well, scouting report with the turkey this year.
Yeah.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. First hosted playoff game in William Penn football history, first points scored in William Penn football history in the playoffs, and first playoff win. Congratulations. If you got anything else to say, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Drew. Go Statesmen.